Running up as it starts its takeoff roll, the Mikoyan MiG-29, the Fulcrum.
Imagine a machine so fast it can cross a country in less time than it takes you to make a cup of coffee. A jet so powerful that its engines could melt metal if pushed to the limit. Some of these aircraft were so ahead of their time that even today, in 2025, no one has truly beaten their records. And here's the shocking part. One fighter on this list reached speeds so outrageous that even radar operators thought their equipment was broken. A jet that could fly so high and so fast, it was practically untouchable. The real kicker? That record was set decades ago, and nothing has topped it since. Today, we're tackling about the 10 fastest fighter jets in the world, from early Cold War beasts to modern legends still ruling the skies. These aren't just war machines. They're engineering marvels, built to test the very limits of physics, and sometimes they went too far. Stick around, because the fastest jet on this list will absolutely leave you speechless. McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II. We start our countdown with a true Cold War icon, the F-4 Phantom II. First flown in 1958, this beast could hit Mach 2.2. That's around 2,370 kilometers per hour, 1,470 miles per hour. Now, by today's standards, it might not sound like much. But here's the mind-blower. In 2025, this jet is still flying combat missions in countries like Turkey, Greece, and Iran. More than 6 decades later, the Phantom is still proving it can fight. Its secret, raw power. 2 massive General Electric J-79 engines that could practically drag a brick into the sky. Pilots used to joke, if you put a big enough engine on it, even a barn door can fly. And the Phantom, with its blocky, awkward shape, kind of looked the part. But it worked. Not only could it fly fast, but it could carry nearly 8,200 kilograms, 18,000 pounds of weapons. That made it just as deadly as it was quick. The Phantom became the workhorse of the Vietnam War and a mainstay for NATO allies. The F-4 reminds us that speed isn't just about records, it's about endurance, and this jet has endured longer than almost anyone expected. But if the Phantom proved speed could last, the next jet showed that speed could also stay invisible. Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor. Next up, the F-22 Raptor. On paper, it tops out at around Mach 2.25, or 2,410 kilometers per hour, 1,500 miles per hour. That doesn't sound much faster than the Phantom. But here's the thing, speed is only part of the Raptor's story. This jet can do something almost no other fighter can, supercruise. That means it can fly faster than the speed of sound, Mach 1.5 to be exact, without afterburners. Most jets need to burn fuel like crazy to go supersonic. The F-22 can do it almost casually. Then there's stealth. At high speeds, radar should easily track a jet. But the F-22 was designed to stay nearly invisible even when breaking the sound barrier. That's a game changer. Only 195 Raptors were ever built, and none were sold to other countries. It's America's crown jewel, a machine so advanced the US decided it couldn't risk letting anyone else get their hands on it. So while the Raptor isn't the absolute fastest jet on this list, it's arguably the most dangerous. But long before stealth ruled the skies, another nation built a jet out of sheer necessity, one that shocked the world with how fast it was. Israel Aircraft Industries Kfir. At number 8, we've got a fighter born not from luxury, but from desperation. The IAI Kfir. Back in the 1960s, after France cut off arms supplies to Israel, the Israelis decided to take matters into their own hands. They reverse-engineered the French Mirage 5 and improved it. How? By swapping out the original French engine for the same American J-79 engine that powered the Phantom. The result? A jet that could hit Mach 2.3, about 2,445 kilometers per hour, 1,520 miles per hour, and perform brilliantly in the hot desert skies. The Kfir may not have been the prettiest jet, But it was tough, reliable, and faster than many of its rivals. Today, it still flies in places like Colombia, and even in the US, where private companies use it to train American fighter pilots in mock dogfights. The Kfir's story proves something important. Sometimes speed comes not from wealth or resources, but from necessity. And while Israel built the Kfir out of survival, the Soviets were building something that could outdance almost any jet in the sky. Mikoyan MiG-29 Fulcrum. The MiG-29 Fulcrum was designed in the 1970s as an answer to America's F-16. It could reach Mach 2.3, but the real magic wasn't just in raw speed, it was in agility. The MiG-29 was built to dogfight. Its engines were spaced far apart, giving it incredible maneuverability. It could pull off stunts in the air that seemed to defy physics. Pilots often said flying it felt like strapping yourself to a rocket with wings. Here's another thing. The MiG-29 could take off from rough airstrips, or even highways. That meant it could fight from places where Western jets would never dare land. Even today, hundreds of MiG-29s are still in service around the world, from Poland to India. The Fulcrum shows us that speed alone doesn't win battles. Sometimes, it's about being nimble, unpredictable, and ready to strike where no one expects. But while the Fulcrum was agile, the next jet combined speed and style, and became a Hollywood legend. Grumman F-14 Tomcat. Hollywood made it famous. The F-14 Tomcat, star of Top Gun, was more than just a movie prop. With a top speed of Mach 2.34, or 2,485 kilometers per hour, or 1,544 miles per hour, this jet was the pride of the US Navy. Its most unique feature? Variable sweep wings. The Tomcat's wings could extend for low-speed carrier landings or swing back for supersonic runs. That flexibility made it perfect for life on an aircraft carrier. But don't let the sleek looks fool you. The F-14 wasn't just fast, it was deadly. During the Iran-Iraq War, Iranian Tomcats reportedly shot down more than 160 Iraqi aircraft, while losing only 16 of their own. Even though the US retired the F-14 in 2006, Iran still flies them today. But while America was perfecting style, the Soviets were busy building something rougher, meaner, and just as fast. Mikoyan MiG-23 Flogger. The MiG-23 Flogger was another Soviet push to dominate the skies with raw speed. Introduced in the late 1960s, it was one of the first Soviet fighters to feature variable sweep wings, just like the American F-14 Tomcat. These wings could shift mid-flight, fully extended for takeoffs and landings, then swept back for high-speed chases. It gave the MiG-23 flexibility that older Soviet fighters simply didn't have. Built with a single, powerful engine, the MiG-23 could reach Mach 2.35, or 2,520 kilometers per hour, or 1,561 miles per hour. That meant it could rapidly intercept enemy aircraft before they had time to react. And unlike many NATO fighters, the Flogger didn't need pristine runways. Its rugged design allowed it to launch from short, rough, or even damaged airstrips, making it ideal for the Soviet Union's vast network of frontline bases. In combat, the MiG-23 wasn't the most graceful jet. Western pilots often described it as brutish and hard to maneuver in close dogfights. But as an interceptor, it was fast, powerful, and armed with advanced radar for its time. Even today, a handful remain in service in nations like North Korea and Syria, a testament to how durable Soviet engineering could be. But if the MiG-23 was the rugged workhorse of Soviet interceptors, the next family of jets showed that speed could evolve into true all-around dominance. Sukhoi Su-27 family. The Sukhoi Su-27 and its many variants, the Su-30, Su-35, and even Chinese-built versions, are some of the most versatile fighters in the world. With a top speed of Mach 2.35, 2,500 km per hour / 1,550 miles per hour, they may not seem much faster than the MiG-23. But what sets them apart is agility and endurance. Modern Su-35s use thrust vectoring engines, which means the engines themselves can point in different directions mid-flight. That allows maneuvers so extreme that pilots at air shows often leave crowds gasping, convinced they've just watched an aircraft break the laws of physics. More than 1,200 of these aircraft are still in service worldwide. But while the Su-27 proved versatility, the next American fighter proved it could dominate the skies with speed and an undefeated record. McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle. The F-15 Eagle is one of America's most successful fighters ever built. Top speed? Mach 2.5, or about 2,655 kilometers per hour, 1,650 miles per hour. But speed isn't its only claim to fame. The Eagle has a combat record unlike any other. Over 100 aerial victories, 0 losses. That's right, not a single F-15 has ever been shot down in air-to-air combat. And here's a jaw-dropper. In 1985, an F-15 shot down a satellite orbiting 555 kilometers, 345 miles above Earth using a special missile. Even though the F-15 is over 50 years old, it's still in production. But if the Eagle proved America could dominate at Mach 2.5, the Soviets had a secret weapon that could nearly break Mach 3. Mikoyan MiG-31 Foxhound. The MiG-31 Foxhound was the Soviet Union's answer to one of its greatest fears: high-speed American bombers and reconnaissance aircraft slipping past defenses. Introduced in the 1980s, the Foxhound was essentially a heavily upgraded successor to the legendary MiG-25 Foxbat, but with brains as well as brawn. Its official top speed sits at Mach 2.83, or nearly 3,000 kilometers per hour, 1,900 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest interceptors ever to enter service. But speed wasn't its only trick. The MiG-31 came equipped with an advanced phased array radar, one of the first of its kind in a fighter jet. This allowed it to track up to 10 targets at the same time and engage 4 simultaneously, giving it a massive edge in defending Soviet skies. And the Foxhound has only grown more dangerous. Modern upgrades allow it to carry the Kinzhal hypersonic missile, capable of striking targets at over Mach 10 speeds, well beyond the reach of traditional defenses. Still, the MiG-31 had limits. At extreme speeds, the cockpit glass couldn't handle the heat, forcing restrictions on how often it could be pushed to its maximum. But as radical as the Foxhound was, the Soviets had already built a fighter that pushed speed even further: the infamous Foxbat. Mikoyan MiG-25 Foxbat. The MiG-25 Foxbat remains the fastest fighter jet ever built, capable of Mach 2.83 and in short bursts, possibly over Mach 3.2, 3,400 plus kilometers per hour, 2,100 miles per hour. The Foxbat terrified the West when it first appeared in the 1960s. This jet could fly higher than 80,000 feet, so high that no missile or fighter could touch it. Its engines were so powerful they had to build the airframe out of stainless steel, because aluminum would have melted at those speeds. The MiG-25 wasn't perfect. It guzzled fuel, it was hard to maneuver, and flying it at max speed often destroyed the engines. But none of that mattered. For years, nothing could match its raw velocity. So, what do we learn from this list? That the fastest fighters weren't always the most effective. Many of the Cold War's speed demons, like the MiG-25, were retired or sidelined. Meanwhile, slower jets like the F-22 dominate modern skies. Why? Because missiles today can travel faster than Mach 4. Stealth, agility, and advanced radar often matter more than sheer speed. And who knows? With hypersonic weapons now in development, maybe the next generation of jets will bring speed back into the spotlight. If you loved this countdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world of aviation. and drop a comment below. Which of these speed demons impressed you the most?